lovely sunny Alton Park on a cold November, but it's dry, so we're not complaining. This is the test day we were supposed to have had at the beginning of this year. However, due to the wonders of British weather and snow, that day got postponed or cancelled. But that was fortunate because that enabled us, due to cancellations at my friend's garage, Rich at Tunes UK, to actually get the Mazda2 set up properly. So Rich, fair dues to him, he spent what, 4 hours on the car, setting the car up, taking the suspension back off, putting it all back on, getting all the ride heights set correctly, getting all the cambers, tow and everything all set, all ready for our first round at Silverstone, which we had massively high hopes. As it transpired, Silverstone, it was a good shakedown for the car, but one of the mistakes we made, and it's a learning curve, we left the rear white line roll bar on the car.
Right, we found out it was a little bit too stiff on the rear end.
With putting the coilovers on, running a stiffer spring rate and running the rear bar on at the same time made the car too tail happy. So when you were going into some of the fast corners, the car just basically wanted to rotate and spin on you. And I thought we should have really picked up on that a lot quicker, but we didn't. Subsequently, after Silverstone, we sat back, we thought about it, and me and Neal then decided to go to Brighton and do a test day at Brighton. Neal went out in the car, drove it. I came in the passenger seat and said, look, yeah, you can feel the way that the car, the back end's picking up. Neal confirmed that one and how the car wasn't as stable as it was the year before. So we took the roll bar off, took the car out, 100% better. Back to where it was the year before with a plus. We then spent the rest of the day just dialing in the shocks. So because the Geckos have done us really, really well this year, have adjustability on the rebound, we can basically dial in those shocks to basically, so when you're braking, you're not getting it dipping too hard, you're getting more stability on the rear. So we dialed in the shocks and the rebound on the shocks, and I think then we went to Snetterton, wasn't it? And yeah, should we not talk about Snetterton? Started off, first time I've been at Snetterton, done a lot of practice on the simulator at Snetterton. We had the fortunate thing of having a half an hour test session in the morning, straight out the bat, quick.
I was looking at that. What's actually happened? He bumped it off the curb.
I wouldn't say I bumped it off the curb.
I shoved it off the curb.
Was I using the curves within the limits? Yes. Did I go onto the green bit? No. Did I stay on the curb without going onto the green? Yes.
Were you potentially airborne for that to just drop off?
No, it never was. Loved the circuit. Absolutely ballistically quick. Everything went well in practice. Then it came to qualifying, and stupid here decided to go all out on the green flag lap and crashed. You are?
Bollards in bits, nothing straight on the car. It's pulling left when you hit the brakes.
No, I don't.
There was the Puma that was right behind you. Apparently he just got sprayed in it. Just Mazda2 bumper. Bang, driving into it.
chassis leg's fine. Hasten to why now you see the car that used to have a nice matching blue bumper now got a grey bumper. I crashed the car, we completed qualifying. The car wasn't that badly damaged, just cosmetic. But then trying to find a bumper when you're over in Norfolk and Snetterton, if we'd been at somewhere like Donington or Silverstone, we could have gone and got a bumper within an hour. So the only people then that had, the only person that had a bumper wanted stupid money for it, so we decided to call Snetterton a day. Left there with the tail between my legs. Basically, lesson learned. You don't need on the green flag to go all out. Just build up slowly. It was a lesson learned, and
Team got a trophy.
But sorry.
And the team got a trophy.
But the team got a trophy. Fair dues to Nick Dougal, because Neal couldn't race on that one. And Neal's going to be taking a sabbatical this year due to him having, well, not him having a baby, that would be a miracle, but his wife having a child. It was Nick, I think, basically organised that he could share that drive, and they got a 3rd place in class. So as the day, it was disappointing for me, but it was great for Neal that he came away with, and he's got a medal at home. I'm sure he polishes on a daily basis.
Regularly.
And there we go. We then went back to
Alton.
Sorry?
Alton Park.
Alton Park. Way better. We'd sorted the car out. Alton Park is a circuit that I know, Neal knows, and we were quicker than last year by, I think, about 3 and a bit seconds, I think. But still, actually, gallingly, Nick Dougal turns up with another driver and was quicker than he was last year. So I matched his time last year, but he went quicker again. But it was a good race. We had a good race. We finished reasonably well, and the car felt good. Neal was quick, and we left there happy that we finally actually got to finish a race with a decent car underneath us. We then went to, after that, was it going to Donington? First time for Neal at Donington. He missed the year before due to me again, actually. well, not me again, we thought it was me, but actually subsequently we found that me going backwards into the gravel of the old hall the year before was down to a caliper failing just halfway through the corner, which basically smacked me off. We found that was a garage who had actually done some work on the car previously, not tightening up the bolt properly. So, lesson learned by us, don't trust anybody else with the car. Do all the work yourself and make sure you mark everything going forward. So Donington started off really well. Neal went out, he started the race. Lap times were absolutely fantastic. He was nailing it. We were on for third in class. Then the pit stop came and we mopped it up. We were 26 seconds over the allotted 2-minute time. That allowed a Mazda MX-5 from Misty Racing, wasn't it, to catch up with us. He then got the third, 6 seconds ahead. So if we had actually done our normal pit stop where we're now on the 2 minutes 3, we would have been roughly around 20 seconds ahead of him and we would have got another medal. Again, lesson learned, make sure our pit stops are accurate. So yes, so Donington, it was we were close but not close enough. We then went back to Silverstone then, wasn't it?
Stefan.
Sorry, Neal then actually took a step out of the car and Stefan came in. And the dreaded Panda arrived. We'd had a snippet of the Panda when it turned up, showed us the car when we were all in park, and then he arrived and that's where the fun started actually. Was really sharpening our game up because we got beaten that day by that. Right, so Silverstone. Steph joined us. He hadn't been out in the car, he hadn't been out racing I think for over a year because Dave, who he used to partner with in the other Mazda, had taken a year out. Steph, to say the least, was rusty. He didn't really get on with the car. He wasn't overly quick. I went out and I felt confident with the car. The car was, we got the car where it needed to be and we were quick. But unfortunately, I think, yes, we got passed by the Panda because it just had that little bit more straight line speed than us. And because of Steph's stint at the beginning, it just really knocked us off. So that started the whole thing of, right, the car's not, there are some things we can do to the car to improve it. We'd already had the car mapped. Now, mapping a normally aspirated 1.5 is never really going to give you massive power like a turbo car, but it can smooth out the power delivery, give you a little bit more torque, slow down, and a little bit more power. And we'd had the car mapped, and it had made a bit of a difference. But discussions between me and Neal, we said there was a lot of time on circuit where you're halfway between gears, you're coming out of a corner, you're having to go down to say second, but then you're having to change back up again quite quickly, and you just need we needed that little bit more rev range. Neal spoke to the guys in America who run the Mazda2s and the B-Spec series, and we found out that they're mapping the cars out to 7,500 RPM. So Quantum did the initial map for us, so then I spoke to the mapper at Quantum, Stuart, and said to him, look, can you do a map where it goes out to 7,500 RPM? And I said to him, look, if the engine goes bang, I've told you to do it, it's a race car at the end of the day, we're pushing the limits. we know where we're going to be with it. So subsequently he did the mapping, we had the car mapped, now takes out 7,500 RPM, and we went back to Donington and the national circuit. And it went well. I think the car was brilliant. The lap times were good. They were faster than they were the last time we were out, although instead of being on the international, we were on the national circuit, so you're missing the Melbourne loops. Very hard to do a back-to-back, but all I can say is I know going down through the Craner curves, the first time I went down through there flat, it was very much a hold your breath moment. I was coming down there a heck of a lot faster than I was before, somewhere in the average of probably about 10 mile an hour more. And I was, as far as I was concerned, I was already on the limit previously, but you could do it. It was a bravery pill, but we were away. We were quick. Started the race off. One of the most eventful starts I think I've ever had, of carnage in front of you and basically getting through and going, thank God I'm through that and haven't had an accident. Restarted, really good race, managed to have a good battle with Bosner in there, MGZS is it? Or ZR? ZR. Or Rover 25 or 200, whichever one you want to call it. Nick Dougal in his Mazda and the Panda. And we tracked over to Steph. Steph was a little bit, by the time we handed over, Steph was a bit behind, but fair dues to Steph. He reeled the Mazda in. Not the Mazda, the Panda in. And got past him, got past Dougal, got past him. Yes, I think we were, about 5th or 6th in class, but we had a really good race with a few people around us. Everybody came back out, all of us came out and went, there was 4 cars all having a good battle of ding dong. We even got TV footage from the TCR commentators saying obviously that we've been having a right ding dong for 45 minutes.
He certainly speaks with a Brummie accent. Other than that, he was doing his best Stuart Lyons impression. He must have been under the minimum pit stop time, so it's usually a 30. He probably won't know he's got the penalty either, so as far as he's concerned.
Even though he cheated his pit stop to get not deliberately, I'm using the wrong use of the word, but we can still enjoy the battle on track.
We can indeed. These 3 cars have been together since the start of the race as well, haven't they? The 2 Mazda2s and the Fiat Panda. The driver of the Panda, I don't know whether it's low mass or north in that car.
He's doing semaphore as he goes along virtually.
Brilliant, brilliant.
You know, and it was great. So we did really, really well on that one. We were happy. The car was right. So then we went back to the last round at Silverstone on the international circuits, running out of the F1 pits. Not a circuit that really favours the Mazda again, because we need a lot more corners that we can carry a lot more speed, but it's not bad. It went well, I'd say. The first time Neal wasn't with us, so I felt for him that I think he was watching things remotely, and I felt very big responsibility of looking after Neal's car and making sure it got back to him in one piece. And it went well. The car was great. It felt really stable. Steph came to the party as the laps went on, and his lap times came down, very comparable in the end. I think in the end his fastest lap was, what, half a second off me, which is not bad. good. Say not bad, that was really good. He'd started to get used to back to the car again and get back into it. And we beat the Panda. But I think the biggest thing came from that one was Neal spotting in the video footage that I'd started to, halfway through the race, or my stint in the race, started left foot braking into Abbey. I found basically going flat into there, the car wasn't really liking it. I was coming out scrubbing too much speed off, and I don't know why, I felt so happy with the car. I thought I can left foot brake into here, and yeah, it just shows how we've got the car so well set up now and dialed in, that we could I could play with the car while actually in the race and get it to actually work, and that enabled us to what, 1:17 lap time round there, which was quicker than any of the other cars around us. We beat the Panda again, so it was 2-1 to us over the 3 races we'd had with that Panda. So that was a big bonus for us, and we were happy. We came away very happy with the car. So overall, I have to say, the Geckos the Geckos coilovers, they have been brilliant. They've not let us down all year. They're still looking as good as when we put them on. We can still adjust them. None of the adjusters have rusted up, nothing's corroded or anything like that. It's allowing us to dial the car in, and remembering these Geckos are pretty much I would say they're pretty much a street fast road street setup with a bit of track day in it, and we're using it as full track setup. And it proves, with actually utilising somebody with knowledge like Richard Tuned UK, that you can get the car. Mr. Dougal there again.
Carry on. don't let me interrupt you.
Oh, you have already. You can dial the car in and actually have a successful, you know, you don't have to break the budget on a suspension to get a car to work. Yes, you could go and get some other stuff and play around with it a bit more, and maybe you get a bit more, but there are further improvements to be had to the car, which we'll let you know later on as time goes on what we're doing. But ultimately, I'd like to say thank Gecko for supplying us with the shocks. They've been absolutely fantastic. Octane Distribution, Octanologists. Octane Distribution is the B2B side of Super Pro, GFB, Motol, and many other brands that they do, and Octanologists is the retail side of that, for the support that they've given this year to us, supplying, obviously paying for some of the costs towards the racing, the oil that we've had in the car. Say the Motol oil has been absolutely brilliant. It's the only time I think we've stood there when we've changed from what Neal was using previously. I'm not sure what brand it was, but putting the Motol oil in and starting the car at the first time, the notable change in the engine note, how it was, and how happier the car is with the engine oil. It comes in and it's just so quiet with the engine oil in. It just proves the oil pressures and everything are working really, really well with that. And say thank you, I would say thank you to Neal at 2 Racing for the last couple of rounds, basically entrusting me with the car to run for him. And next year's going to be the same. Neal's going to be, because by as this video now in November, I think there's only 4 weeks off now, then he's going to become a dad. He's going to be taking a year out this next year in 2024, so he's entrusted me again with the car, which is a big responsibility, but I think we're going to go on to bigger and better things. There's some further improvements that we know we can do to the car without breaking the budget. What we want to prove with this car is that a lot of the things we're doing to this car are something you can do to a road car, and make a Mazda2 more fun than it already actually is. It's a great little chassis, very easy to dial in and tune and have fun with. On a race circuit, there's many times that you've been up and lost some very fast cars through some very twisty parts of circuits, right up the backside. It's only when they get to the straights they shoot off. It proves that the little chassis on these cars is absolutely fantastic. It's just needs more power, but we'll see where that comes from. So that's basically the dial-in from this year.